All right, and another response. This time, you have one issue, and you basically create a loop in your thoughts with it. You think about money all the time. If you would take money out of the loop, with the question with the factory worker, like he is voluntarily submitting himself to work in the factory. I don't think that most of the factory workers would, go into the factory just because they want to, if they wouldn't get paid and require the money in order to pay for the housing and food and the family and all that. So the example would be like, what would you do if you wouldn't be paid any dollar, any penny money anymore in your whole life? What would you do? What would you love to do? And that's what you would do if you would not be enslaved and depending on the wage. So you might be an artist, you might be an engineer, you might be an inventor, you may be somebody who like is helping and like a surgeon, for example, or at least has a lot of knowledge in order to be able to perform surgery if it becomes necessary. And in that example, is of course you have the choice to if you like realize that you need a surgery, that you are like injured. Um, do you want to die, or are you able to help yourself? If you are not, and then it makes sense to you to ask somebody who can help you to help you and fix whatever's wrong. That is all natural, and it has nothing like if money wouldn't be like a part of the game, then the person would want you to help you, and it's up to you. If like, oh, nobody can touch me, then of course you're gonna die. That's nothing really has to do with slavery. That is just completely human uh, logic, unless you're suicidal. And that's also what the idea is behind the society. When it's like talking about anarchistic, it doesn't mean then nobody's doing anything with anybody. It's just because like, people are doing stuff in being in like consensus. They are having consent about like, okay, we should do that because it makes sense, because it helps us. It makes if we make sure that certain things are a certain way, then everybody has a benefit from it. So we should do it because it makes common sense, and nobody's forced to do it. But if it makes sense, then you do it. Like if you like, hey, let's go out on a weekend somewhere, and you have to decide with your friends. You make up your minds and then decide for a place to go. How does it happen? Like it's because of consensus, and you basically make an agreement that there's nobody really forced to go anywhere. So that's maybe like a good example, and I hope that it's also like providing you some information like when it comes to like the whole idea behind wage slavery and all that what it implicates, because it is all basically going around money, and who has the control over like certain things that are important for you to live, and in this case it's money. So there's you wouldn't do whatever you have to do in the current society if you wouldn't require the compensation, the money for it in order to sustain life. And there are some projects going on. You maybe want to look on the internet. There's also a video available. It's called Zeitgeist. It's spelled Zeitgeist. It's the German word Zeitgeist. And there's also a second part. It's the Zeitgeist Addendum. But it's pretty good, talking about the whole monetary system and how it kind of intervenes and creates issues for society, and also alternatives for a possible society without money. Something that wasn't possible in the past, but where the mankind reached a state today to be able to create a society where nobody has to pay anything, and everybody would be taken care of, and nobody would have to starve, and would live on a street or anything. We have all the resources available already to do that, and create a society where the human drive, the natural drive to do things, to improve things, to make things better, to invent, to find out because of curiosity. All those are very powerful driving forces that create incentives for people to be active, even though they are not compensated with money, and because they are not forced to. Because you don't want to sleep all day and do nothing, because then you would be dying of boredom one day. So people want to do something, and if they are free from the dependency of a wage that they need to get in order to sustain life, and most people are being busy most of the day, if not all day, with just doing that without even doing what they really want to do. And if that changes, if we reach the state that people can really do what they want to do, instead of being depending on getting paid or like compensated by somebody who is basically running their life, usually indirectly, then it will be very interesting to see, and I hope it will be this way one day. Star Trek is always a good example to go by. I don't think that anybody would starve to death in the Star Trek universe if he wouldn't decide to go to work. But you see all the characters in there are driven by other things. They are not trying to enrich themselves. They are not after money. They want to gain knowledge, and and that exploration is satisfaction for them, and reward enough in order to do whatever they do, and to learn whatever they learn, and to engineer and design whatever they design. So I hope that those examples give you some good ideas what is meant as a opposite model or opposite system to the current system what we have today, what is a wage slavery system where people are not free and are oppressed, but they think they are free, and that's why they are really hopelessly enslaved. So, alright, okay, enough trouble, I think you get the message.